God's
Let me
judgment
go on
one day.
let me go on a 5-minute farming rant.
Do it.
Okay, so
I'll give you 4 minutes and 45 seconds. No more than that.
fair enough. Fair enough. So I mean, I think you're 100% right. But if you take a step back, right, like, and you don't look at the complex individual, but you look at people as a whole, like as a group.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch animals when you farm animals,
Mm-hmm.
and you see the behaviors that can be taught. Like, so it's very, very simple. But like you said, as the first generation goes by, they're they don't really want it, right? Like, but they'll do it for the reward. Let's say you're talking about food or whatever it might be, shelter, whatever it might be. If you find a wild turkey, they don't want to go inside, right? But like, if you go through generations of 1 or 2 or 3, like you said, 3 is the number. I mean, by the third one, if you can get them to go inside, they want to go inside.
Yeah.
So when you do that, when you teach it, now what we've seen, and don't get me wrong here, I completely only, because I do a lot of I just kind of think about this, and it's all perspective. It doesn't mean I have any firm belief in any of this, but when you look back, when you pay attention, yes, everything, in my opinion, you can see was much, much more spiritual. People looked up. How many people? Nobody looks up anymore, right? You're always looking down, right? You're looking at your phone, right? So the perspective of the world for an individual over the last 100 years, since around the 1900s, has completely changed. Yeah, it's completely changed. And on top of that, there has been a system put in place where the indoctrination starts in school, because they don't teach you how to think, they teach you what to think.
Yep.
So when you start in school and they say, shut up, sit down, and you say, well, what about this? And they say, no, that's not how it is. It's like this. Now you get generations of people that start there. And then you get things with the chemical castration, as you would in a farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have bulls that are going to be crazy, and you have roosters that are trying to attack you. What do you do with them, right? Like, if it's more complex on an individual basis where you still need them, you will castrate them. Exactly. So, I mean, that's how you stop that aggression, and that's how you curb that emotion, right? So my point of saying that is that I'm not selling the fluoride thing. I'm saying that it's a small factor that could be possible along with everything else. Like, I mean, because look at the food. There's so much shit in food that,
you have to have all the puzzle pieces.
Just think about it. Can anybody survive outside? Right? Like, for as long as people have been around, people could survive outside.
We're all house pets.
We can't anymore.
I said
we
this
are
last
the farmed animals. They have gotten to the point where we can't survive without them, right? Like, we can't survive without the heat kicking on, the lights coming on. We can't survive without our communications and our tech, and we can't survive without the food market, right? Like, we can't. And that's how far along this progression has become. So, like, that's why I want to try and get that rant in, because I've honestly thought about doing a video about this where it's more in depth with more data points and stuff, but if you take a step back and you don't analyze the individual and you just look at a group as a whole, you can see exactly what it happens, because you can apply it right to farming.
Yes, sir.
Well, let me ask you let me ask you a question. Do you think that, I mean everything you laid out, like, do you think that the people coming in with Kennedy and these people coming, do you think that this system is fixable and reversible, or do you think it's time to even go even further up into the mountains and straight homestead and ranch?
I love that. I absolutely love that question. And just so I love that question, because this is the answer, right? So, in my opinion, right, like, people want an easy answer. There's no easy button for this, right? Like, there just isn't, right? So the system is doing what it was always meant to do. You can't fix it. It's doing what it was always meant to do with their fake money and their fake food and their fake education. It's doing what it was always meant to do. You can't fix it, because it was never meant to be any different than it is. What you can do is take accountability for yourself. Like,